Video 2, right where we left off in the prologue. An extremely bored-looking repairman is tracing lines on a screen with his finger. Hey, what the hell are you doing here? The patrols are out. Are you tired of living or something? I'd find a cozier place if I had a chance. What do you care? Relax. I'm not going to sound the alarm or anything. It's none of my business. All I need are my wrench and my soldering iron. The rest I couldn't care less about. What are you doing here? I'm allowed. I look after the tunnels, check communication lines and all that. Fix these buckets and bolts. But it's not that bad. At least I don't have to see those soldiers that often. You like them flying cans more than people? I feel ya. Well, they've got a nicer walk, that's for sure. One of these days, I'll command an army of robots, take over Herb, turn the urbanites into slaves, and force feed them the shit that we eat during the holidays. We'll see how long they last. I'm looking for Sector 17 generator room. I don't know what it's generating, but I need to get inside. It's not far, but you won't get there alive. There's a bunch of these birdies around thanks to me. Maybe you can turn them off for a while? Are you nuts? There's cameras everywhere. You know what'll happen to me if I do that. You should probably go. You, don't repair these things too well, eh? I'm doing the worst I can, friend. As a result of military actions in the zone, 6 transport columns with the registration numbers have been lost. Authorities are currently working on it. You see a customs commissar surrounded by bodyguards with the Dark Hollow Division insignia. So, is this where we say our passwords? Cut the small talk. Do you have the container? Here, take it. Keep in mind that you've made a lot of noise. The patrols are already searching the tunnels. You cannot leave the way you came in, so you'll have to go through the air shaft. It's under maintenance right now. Where is this mine? Once you pass through the second door, go straight ahead. You'll find your way out from there. Get a move on. The nerve endings along the entire left side of your body scream as if they are overloaded with pain. Sorry, I haven't cleaned up in a while. Can I offer you a drink? Don't bother. I believe you'd prefer a drink alone. Right. It can be hard to explain to guests that it's time for them to leave. If the conversation goes in the right direction, guests leave at a reasonable time. Alright, I admit it. I was the one who took the battery out of the cleaning machine. Ugh. What a relief. Next time we'll be sure to laugh at your joke, but for now, let's discuss the deal. I'm sure you'll find the conditions pretty interesting. I believe there's no point asking about the order. Would you feel better if I showed you a warrant? The deal is simple. You get me in touch with the broker, and I leave your head unharmed. I have no idea how to get in touch with the broker. And that's the end of the prologue, I believe. Yep.
The wind blows from afar. The wind brings a multitude of flavors. The bitterness of wilting grass, the freshness of waves on the sea in the glimmering dawn. The day has come, and the wind has changed. Only the ashes of endless fires float through the air now. There's no more wind to disturb the silence of the rusting tunnels. The cosmic metropolis, built before the war, has become humanity's only chance to survive. Ravaged by bombing and abandoned by everyone, it barely managed to escape a planet dying in the flames of war. Now they wander beyond the bounds of time. Their last hope is a faraway planet where they can start the history of mankind anew. But the Iron City has lived its own life for centuries now, and it shows no intention of bending to the will of humans. Memories of the era of great storms have been lingering in the rust for far too long. The wind shall blow once more. The sleep that has lasted for so many years is about to end.
Hello, KZ0012. How are you feeling? It's only been a minute, but you're already up and about. Must be because you're a soldier. Looks like congratulations are in order for a successful awakening. Redden quickly scans the indicators on the monitors. I must say, you lucked out quite a bit. Considering the state you were in after the accident, you're looking rather fresh.
Attention.
Accident? What are you talking about? You managed to survive a blast in limb, K0012. Several hundred dead, many more injured. You're going to find out more about the incident a bit later. How long do I have to stay here? According to your readings, you'll bounce back soon enough. This is a somewhat atypical situation for a rough awakening. You've been very lucky. If things were different, I'd recommend that you stay in this chamber for another week. But as it is at the moment, the state needs each and every one of us. I suppose I can tell Dr. Roke that you're ready for your Strock scan. Well, I see no point in dragging it out. Great. Raiden swiftly runs his fingers over the communicator. Dr. Rock is expecting you. When you leave the chamber, make a right and go all the way to the end. Try to catch the patient's eye. In a few seconds, he looks at you dimly, awkwardly, bending his wrists. How's it going? A cynical smile breaks out across the man's face, though it doesn't seem to be meant for you. You okay? The man rubs his eye with his wrist, as if trying to wipe the oily film off his cornea. I'm listening. The stout paramedic scowls, watching a man look at a fluorescent lamp in awe. May I ask you a couple of questions? Yeah, but make it quick. Just recovered. What happened here? It's a madhouse here. The terror attack in Lim, thousands killed. It sure is something. The bastards from the border areas are trying to intimidate us. Oh, they'll change their tune as soon as our heavy units do their thing. Who are they and what do they want? Some kind of gathering of those who believe themselves to be getter rights activists. What do they want to free themselves from, I wonder? Food? Supplies? They'd starve to death if it weren't for us. Is this guy alright? Not really, as you can see. The blast caused a swing, which rebooted his Delta module system, hence his spontaneous awakening. He wasn't hurt too badly. Dr. Roque believes he'll recover in a week. This kind of case is very common these days. Come right in. KZ0012 is it? How are you feeling? Fine and dandy, thank you. Fantastic. So you are now standing on the very stock scanner that seems to be the subject of quite a few dark and scary rumors. Of course, you and I both know that rumors thrive on ignorance, don't we? The stock scanner will put together a detailed assessment of your physical and mental condition. Are you ready to begin? I don't seem to have a choice. Come now, don't make us to be dictators. It's not like we're dentists here.
Attention, patients of the adaptation block. The injection office.
A helot is skilled in stealth and survival, possesses great wayfinding skills, and is decent at using firearms and in close combat. In the military forces of Herb, helots are considered to be immigrants from the junkyard that are familiar with the border areas and understand the customs of getters, criminals, and mercenaries. You don't like to talk about your past in the junkyard. The faces of your parents have been erased from your memory, replaced with the lifelong memory of constant fear, and the kind of hunger that makes one dumb. You were not even 10 years old when fate brought you to Reservation D-106, where Child Supervision Services agents picked you up. Knowing that you would not get another chance, you put all of your strength into learning martial arts. Now you are a valued agent for the intelligence units of the Tyrang Division. Citizens of Herb are unlikely to ever let you into their circle, but you do have their respect. Thingmaster. Thingmaster is an expert mechanic capable of working with explosive substances and using weapons. Many getters become Thingmasters. For them, working at a factory is the only chance they have of receiving Herb citizenship. A Thingmaster from the near range will feel at home in the company of engineers, laborers, and simple inhabitants from the reservations. You were born to a family of getters and had a relatively happy childhood on Reservation D-106. Your father was a foreman at the water purification plant, so although your family lived modestly, your needs were met. You spent your days and nights in your father's workshop studying schematics and dreaming one day of becoming an inventor. Thanks to his hard work, your father was able to achieve full citizenship in Herb for himself and his family, and did everything so that you could go into the service of the Ordnance. After spending several years in the repair service of the Ordnance as an apprentice, you received the coveted certificate and were deployed. Ordinators are those Dark Hollow Division soldiers who guard the Herb's perimeter. They are in excellent physical shape, specialize in close combat, and prefer heavy armor. They prefer to associate with the representatives of the military caste and committee officials. You were born in one of the sterile capsules of the incubator and identified as an acceptable specimen of an Herb citizen. Long before your professional testing, you knew that the martial arts were your calling. You spent your early years at the training grounds at the Grey level, honing your mastery of blade weapons. Having extensively studied the charter of the Ordinate, you are confident that your hand will not waver when the people of Noma need your protection. Techers specialize in electrical systems and have extensive knowledge of medicine. Military Techers who serve in the near range know how to use weapons and frequently participate in military operations. Techers will find many things in common with civilian specialists from Herb and with committee officials. Even in your earliest childhood years, you stood out among your urbanite peers for your curiosity and desire to understand everything. You were interested in how everything worked, whether it was computer parts or the workings of the human immune system. Your natural inclinations determined your future path. Based on your test results, you were assigned to the Medical Center Education Program, where you became a medical equipment engineer. Upon completing the program, you were recommended for service in the Ordnance as a military engineer for electronic systems. Jaegers have mastered the use of firearms and tend to use light equipment. Soldiers with this specialization usually serve on the front lines and are well versed in the internal culture of tie-rank division soldiers and officers. When you were a child, you expected to have the same fate as any Herb inhabitant: prep corps, professional testing, and being assigned a place of service. However, thanks to your perseverance, you were recommended for early practice in the near range when you were still young. Participating in real combat situations has turned you into a seasoned fighter before you'd even turn 20. You mastered most kinds of firearms, and by your second big sleep, you were considered to be the most promising member of your unit. Feel very dizzy. You wobble, feeling as if your chest cavity is being filled with hot cement. Thank you, K0012. The session is over. What do you think? I cannot say it was pleasant. I admit I was expecting a far more depressing scene. After all, your condition has been extremely grave for 14 days straight. You should thank your body for its tenacity. Seems you're ready to continue service. I'll send the results to General Headquarters and they'll give you your assignment. Doctor freezes in front of the terminal screen for a few seconds. Done. You've been assigned to the near range at the Azagras military base. If you still have questions, Raiden will provide further instructions. You are free to go, KZ0012. Have a good one, Doc. How did the diagnostics go, K0012? According to the base, you've been assigned to the Azagras military garrison in Sector D. The magnetic road station is in the entry hall at the end of the hallway. Do you have any questions? I spent 14 days unconscious and you're discharging me just like that? Well, let's put it this way. Now is not the time to allow soldiers to stay in their beds having a light read. The Strock scan shows good results, thus there is no reason to keep you here. I've sent a recommendation to all the medications necessary for your quick recovery added to your food rations. Why am I being sent to the near range? Sector D is a troubled area at the moment. A state of emergency has unleashed unrest. HQ is expanding the near-range garrisons. Maybe you'll be lucky enough to join the hunt for the limb fireworks perpetrators. An honorable mission, is it not?
Attention, patients of
May I
the
ask a few questions about the scanning
Due to an
procedure?
ongoing
Sure thing. What are you interested in?
access to the recreation zone
Remind
will
me,
be
what's the point of the Strock
restricted
scan?
until the 21st day
It's
of
the same
fifth
procedure
month.
that you'd have gone through 5 years ago after your first Delta sleep. Only a Strock scan can provide a complete picture of someone's physical and mental health. By the way, I should probably warn you, if you still have some unusual symptoms, keep your mouth shut about them, unless you wish to stay here for another 20 days. What if I were to have hallucinations? Hallucinations can be indicative of a variety of hidden mental disorders. I understand your fears. Yes, in certain cases we do diagnose IHAP, or insomnia, as they call it in common parlance. Pay no attention to the scary sensationalist articles in the papers. As a rule, it does not get any worse than a mild schizophreniform psychosis. Tell me about Dr. Roque. Dr. Roque is head of the Delta Procedures Block, the one where folks are put to sleep and awakened. I personally consider him to be a great specialist. Thank you, Doctor. I guess it's time for me to go. You're right. I need to get back to work too. Good luck, Unitor. We remember the dead sky. We remember. The doctor nods to you with polite indifference. I'm listening. May I ask you a couple questions? Not that I have a lot of time, but alright then. Would you tell me what's going on here? The adaptation block is currently functioning in emergency mode. Even if you just emerged from your Delta sleep, you must have heard about the awful tragedy in Lim. I haven't seen this many bodies since the Gray Gene epidemic. What caused the blast? The investigation has no concrete information at this point. Who could have done this? Someone who is quite prepared. The official version keeps trying to pin the blame on the rebel groups from the borders of the Near Range. Where does this door lead? This is the quarantine block. We keep the patients diagnosed with AN-HEP there, whose chances of recovery are either slim or non-existent. I gotta go. Yes. What's behind this door? Quarantine block, clearance level 6. I doubt you're even level 2, so please step away from the door. Come in. Well, how are you feeling? The man cast a snide look at you. I'm afraid you've mistaken me for someone else. We haven't met. My name's Locke, number 101020. Nice to meet you, Locke. You can see my number on the patch. You seem perplexed. Have you just recovered after your awakening? Yeah, I think I slept through all the fun. A week ago, we thought the apocalypse had come. The hallways were crammed with extra beds, the medics reeking of distillate. At the end of the day, we were this close to a nervous breakdown. Have you been here long? Almost a month. I was extracted from the Delta module a few weeks back. I was quite lucky and came to only a few hours before the incident. How did it happen? The howl of the siren woke me. The guy lying next to me, he was in a coma after the spontaneous awakening. Started shaking and shouting something. I left the ward and was nearly knocked down by a bunch of soldiers carrying their rifles at the ready. I followed them, trying to catch a glimpse of something from behind. I smelled smoke. The entrance to Lim had been cordoned off. An officer wearing a helmet announced over a loudspeaker that patients were to return to their wards and staff were to remain at their workplaces. I hadn't fallen asleep again. The sounds of the footsteps behind the door and the staff cursing never settled for a minute. They were bringing in the victims. How did the authorities respond? The causes of the incident are being investigated, is what we heard from loudspeakers 2 days straight. Then they announced the possible involvement of a terrorist group from the Near Range. They tortured the staff and many of the patients for about 2 weeks, interrogating them and collecting evidence. I happened to have a conversation with the investigators as well. What did you talk about with the investigator? He listed names and showed pictures. All the questions were regular crap. Where were you at 2:30, and is there anyone who could prove it? Offered rewards for cooperating with the investigation, used all available detective techniques at random. It seemed to me that they had no clue what their superiors wanted from them. This is quite thrilling, but I need to go. No harm done. If you have a moment, come by and we'll have ourselves a nice chat. Patient, step away from the door. What's behind this door? Lim, this segment is in close proximity to the site of the incident. I've been ordered to shoot to kill, so keep your distance. Lim? Not too long ago you were on the other side of this door, breathing peacefully in your big sleep state. It doesn't seem like you've entirely recovered from having awakened yet. Get back to your ward. May I ask a couple of questions about the incident? I'm not authorized to comment. Fine, I'm leaving. Hello, how may I be of assistance? I just recovered after the big sleep. What happened here? A shocking incident occurred in Lim. There was a blast that killed several hundred people, and a few thousand have literally gone mad due to Lim's systems malfunctioning. According to the tentative version, the terrorist attack was carried out by a radical group from the near range. May I ask a few questions? Be more specific. Tell me about Lim. Judging by your age, you must have been there at least once. Well, whatever. It's unimportant. It's an enormous institution equipped with Delta modules. This is where we undergo the big sleep procedure. 450,000 modules for your information. We would call this place impressive. Tell me about the quarantine block. That's the area where patients with incurable mental illnesses are kept, including those confirmed with ANHIP, chronic and violent patients. The Ministry of Health believes free visits to the quarantine block to be inadvisable. Tell me about the adaptation block. Every urbanite awakening from their big sleep spends 3 days to 8 weeks in here. Due to the incident, we have to temporarily keep some of the victims here, mostly those suspected of having so-called somnic psychosis. Wonderful. I've got to go.
The Battle for Zalati. Today in the Adaptation Block Lecture Hall. The showing begins at 8 o'clock p.m.
Ooh, lots of exposition. I think that's a good place to end this video.